Hey, hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this Python beginner tutorial series, today let's discuss about what is if, else if and else statement in Python. Alright, so in real world, if you are put in a situation where you have to execute a certain line of code based on a certain condition is satisfied or not, in those kind of situation, you will use this concept called if, else if and else statement. Alright, so here comes a concept called decision making. Right, so decision making is required when we want to execute a code only if a certain condition is satisfied. In simple terms, if a condition is true, it will go and execute the body of the statement. If the condition is false, it will not execute that statement and move to the next condition that we have specified. All right, so here, in order to implement this decision making concept, we have something called if, else if and else statement in Python. All right, so let's look at each and everything in detail one by one with an example. So first we have something called if statement. First, let's look at the definition of if statement. The program evaluates the test expression and will execute statements only if the text expression is true. If the test expression is false, the statement is not executed. Alright, so in order to explain this definition, I have a simple flowchart here. Basically what I have here is, so we have a test expression, or we can call it as a condition. So we have a condition here. If the condition is satisfied, if the condition is true, it will go and execute the body of the if statement. If the condition is false, it will go out of the body. It will not execute that body of the if statement. As simple as that. Right, let's see a very basic layman example for you to understand how if statement works. All right, say we have a equal to 10, b equal to 20. If a is greater than b, print a is greater than b. Here the condition is not satisfied, so it is not executing. Let me exchange the numbers. So 10, 20 and 10. Now my condition is true. It is going into my body of if statement. Alright, so this is a very basic example I can show you to understand how if statement works. Right, one basic thing to note here is in Python always relies on indentation, right? So whenever you use an if or else condition, make sure you follow the right kind of indentation. So indentation is very important. So if you see, if I remove this indentation, you can directly see my PyCharm ID is throwing the error. So if you have to, so in order for the if statement to execute properly, make sure you follow the right kind of indentation. All right, so this is something I just wanted to highlight you guys. All right, so now let's look at what is if, else if statement in Python. All right, so basically if you want to execute multiple conditions, all right, here in this example we had only one condition, if a is greater than b or not. Right, if you want to execute a multiple condition, in those kind of situation, with if, you can use multiple conditions with else if too. Right, so if you see this flowchart, so we have a test expression. If the condition is true, it will go and execute the body of the if statement. If the condition is false, it will go to the second expression, basically the second condition. If the second condition is false, it will go and execute the body of else if. If it is false, it will go and execute the body of else. Okay, generally else if will always be followed by else statement, but here in this example, for you to make it understand, I am not showing you else here. Let's look at else if alone. So if, say if you want to add another condition, a equal to b, print a is equal to b. If I run this, yeah, the condition is not satisfied. So let me make a and b same. Now it will start executing the if statement. If a is greater than or b or not, the condition is false, so it will go into our else if statement. So it will not execute the body of the if statement at all because the condition is false. Now it will come and execute the else if. If the condition is satisfied, it will go into this body. So obviously 20 and 20 are equal, so the condition is satisfied. It is going and executing a is equal to b. Right, so another thing to notice, you can also have multiple conditions, multiple elif conditions. So a is not equal to b means if a is not equal to b, then print a is not equal to b. Now if I run this, let's make different. Right, so now if you look at this example, the if statement is also not satisfied, the first elif also not satisfied, it returns false. And if you come to this particular elif condition, the condition is satisfied, a is not equal to b, so it is going to this particular condition and printing me the result in the console. All right, so this is how an if, elif and else statement will work. Only if the particular condition is satisfied, it will go into here. Okay, it will execute by sequence only. So that is something important to note. It will execute only by sequence. In case if the condition of if is satisfied, it will not execute this elif at all. And if only if the condition is false, it will go and start executing the next statements. The condition is true, it will not go into it. If the condition is true, it will execute the particular body and it will ignore the remaining else conditions whatever you have written. All right, so next is something, we have something called if else. If else, we have something called else statement. Else statement is generally used to execute at the last, irrespective of what is happening or not at the end, irrespective of what is happening in the previous if and elif condition. Right, so if you look at this particular flowchart here, we have an expression. If the condition is true, you will execute the body of the if. If the condition is false, it will go and execute the body of the else. Right, let me show you an example. So we here in this example, we showed you how if and elif works, right? So let me, if in case if these conditions are not at all satisfied, right, I want to execute else will not have a condition, only elif will have a condition. Else print what can we go, b is greater than a. Right, let me remove this else if. Right, so you will have something called an if statement whenever you want to execute, whenever the conditions of the if and elif is not satisfied. Right, and finally if you want to execute something in those kind of situation, you will use something called else statement. Right, so here my if condition is also not satisfied, my else if is also not satisfied. Finally I am asking my interpreter to run this else statement. Right, so here it did not go into if, else if, it went into my else statement and printed else. Right, so this is how an else statement will work. Finally we have something called nested if. Okay, so in general what is nesting is, we will have else if, we have if, else if and else statement inside another if, else if and else statement. So if you can look at this definition, we can have if, else if and else statement inside another if, else if and else statement. Right, so any number of these statements can be nested inside one another. So you having condition inside a condition, like we will have multiple conditions described inside multiple if statements or else if statements. In general, this concept is called nesting. All right, I will show you an example so that you will have a very clear understanding. All right, so here I have put an example to find greatest of three numbers. We have three numbers a, b and c. If I want to find which number is greatest, okay, so you can see I've used the nested if conditions here. So we have if condition inside a if condition. We have one if here and we have another if here. right? In my first if condition, I'm checking if A is greater than B or not. Okay, my A is, so now I have verified if A is greater than B or not, but we have to verify if A is greater than C or not, right? So now I'm adding another condition called if A is greater than or C, right? So now I'm printing A is greater, else I'm printing C is greatest. Okay, let me run and show you this program. Okay, in order to save some time, I'm just trying to copy it. Alright, so now if I run this, it says B is greatest because B is the greatest number here, right? So if I make this as 100, now it will tell C is greatest. Now if I make A as 1000, it will tell A is the greatest. Okay, because the program is written in such a way that I've used the nested if conditions here to make my interpreter understand which number is greatest, right? So if I have to explain you this program, so first I have something called if condition here. I have an if statement where I'm verifying if A is greater than or B. If the condition is satisfied, then there is a situation that C might also be greater, right? So I have to verify another condition including C if this condition is satisfied. Okay, so I am having another nested if statement here. I am verifying if A is greater than or C or not. So if A is greater than C, this condition is satisfied, I am printing A is the greatest. Else, I am printing C is greatest. So one thing to notice, this if else is, this is a block. Okay, so this is just a block. And we have if and else statement, this is a block. And this entire program is a block. Okay, so that's why indentation is really important in Python for you to understand how the code is structured. Okay, so without indentation this will not work properly, so that is something really important to learn. So this is how you can use multiple if statements inside if statement to make a concept working. So this concept is called nested if conditions. All right, so I hope you guys understood how the Python if, else if and else statement worked. And in case if you have any queries, please post it into the comment section. If you liked my video, please subscribe and follow my channel. Thank you.